Hello guys and gals, and welcome to another episode of Unique Items. Today we're going to be going over one of the oldie but goldies, which is Windforce, present in Diablo 1, Diablo 2, I believe Diablo 3 as well, and now Diablo 4. Windforce is undergone some pretty serious changes in the previous patches, and it's undergone even more changes in 1.5. It's now no longer a generic bow, and it seems to be tied specifically to Barrage, and we're going to go over it today and talk about this. So first off, the implicit change, the passive effect, is now 130% crowd control damage, which is a pretty hefty amount of crowd control bonus. On top of this, it also gives movement speed now. So it gives 14 to 18% increased movement speed, so you can run around faster. And they also threw on the temper on there of the 37 to 55% chance for barrage projectiles to cast twice, which is obviously going to be really nice for getting that extra barrage fire. But that does tie it very specifically to barrage. It also has plus 2 to 4 to barrage, which, as you can see, if it rolls with a greater affix, ends up being plus 5. And then it also has 1 to 2 of malice. Malice is a buff that gives you additional damage for monsters that are knocked down and monsters that are vulnerable, which, of course, this is exactly what this bow is trying to do. Sorry, I think I sucked down some chinchilla fur there. That's right, I'm blaming you. Uh, Malice is a multiplier specifically that gives you additional damage for vulnerable and additional damage for knockdown enemies. And the bonuses can apply simultaneously, so you can get additional multipliers that way. So in this particular regard, it's giving you an additional, pretty good amount of damage, because obviously the monster's always going to be vulnerable, and with this particular item, they're probably pretty much always going to be double knocked down as well. On top of this, they also changed the implicit effect to hits of Barrage have a 50% chance to deal double damage and knock down enemies. Let's go over the flavor text as well. There have been numerous world-shaping conflicts throughout history, and this bow has been found on the battlefield of every one, and always in the hands of the victors. Barrett's Book of Implements.
Mr. Goody Two Shoes, Mr. Goody Two Shoes. Ginger Evil Mentor here. Why bother farming when you can go to MMOEXP.com and simply purchase your items in gold? GGM would have you farm the items. What a pathetic being. Use code GEM Ginger Evil Mentor for 6% off your entire purchase. And don't tell Ginger Gaming Mentor that I was here.
Now, with this particular bow, let's go ahead and take off my eagle horn for a minute here, and let's throw on the Windforce. With this particular bow, and you're using Barrage, Barrage is obviously going to get the double effect, which is very nice, and there's also the possibility of knocking down the targets as well. And I've got T-reels on, so it makes it look dramatic. As you can see, Barrage just kind of like spreads out attacks, and I can keep it up pretty much constantly. And I mean, it's really just, it's a barrage buff. That's what it is. It's extra damage when you have hits of barrage. It's a chance to knock down the enemies. It gives you the bonuses for knocking down the enemies, of course, which is what you would want. It gives you additional movement speed, and it also throws in the additional barrage, projectiles cast twice, which is what everybody's looking for these days, because who doesn't want double chance to deal double damage? And in general, it's definitely set up for a barrage bow. But one of the main issues with any of these bows is that they take up your double aspect slot. So whenever you're using a legendary item in your bow slot, any of those legendary effects or aspects that you put in that slot are going to be twice as effective as normal. And there's a lot of really good ones this season, like the Creeping Death aspect. I believe it's called the Unstable Imbuements aspect. There's a bunch of different ones that work really well when they're doubled. And by using the Windforce, unfortunately, you're giving up that double aspect, and I'm not entirely sure if this is worth giving up that double aspect. Now, the only reason that you would ever use Windforce at this point is if you're using Barrage. If you're not using Barrage, At this point, there's no reason to even consider Windforce because it's really just not going to be useful for you outside of a Barrage build. And then even in the Barrage build, you may have to consider what other aspects you could potentially be putting there, and are they worth more than the Windforce itself? Because that is an option, a possibility. Especially if you're scaling poison damage, for instance, the creeping death aspect might be better, just in general. On top of this, if you're trying to find this particular bow, you're going to have to farm a specific boss. And using the unique target farming tool here we got on Diablo 4.life, you can very easily pinpoint who drops the Windforce bow, which the Windforce bow drops from Kagore and Beast in the Ice. All the bows have specific drops, as you can see. If you want to get Eaglehorn as well, Eaglehorn also drops from Beast in the Ice, so you could do a little double farming there if you wanted to get your hands on both of them. I think that's pretty much it for this bow. I'm not like wholly impressed with it, and I'm not wholly impressed with any of the bows, to be perfectly honest. Why are you trying to like just like destroy my neck back there? Do you want the chain? Here, take the chain. Here, take it. Take it. I'm gonna put it on your head, and then you're gonna get upset. How about that? Ha. See, now he's mad at it. He's chewing on it. There you go. It's good. See? Distract him. Got distracted. Good. All right. Distracted. I distracted myself, too, because I totally lost my train of thought. What the hell was I even talking about? Before he bit my neck. Meanie neck biter. You want to go in there? Go in there. That's what you want to do. Okay. You don't want to go in there? Well, then don't go in there. Nobody's making you do nothing. All in all, with this bow, I'm not like wholly impressed with it because I just don't really think that it's the best choice, maybe even for a Barrage build. I know it has +5 Barrage, and it also has +2 Malice, and it goes with the knockdown stuff, which is definitely interesting. But you can't knock down bosses. You can get that damage bonus when you're obviously, you can get the knockdown effect essentially for a staggering, but it's not going to obviously knock down the boss. You also have a 50% chance to just deal double damage, which is definitely not bad. So basically 1 out of every 2 shots is going to get a double damage bonus on your Barrage. Barrage isn't really the like best single target ability though. I mean, it's okay, I guess. It's really kind of like one that you use to spread your damage out across multiple targets. So getting a double damage on it might not be as effective if it's specifically, you being utilized for that AoE effect, because, you don't really do as much damage when you're doing big giant AoE hits. I don't know. I think that you're probably better off, in my opinion, with like a double affix here of something that's going to help out your build more specifically. Like if you're dealing out poison damage, creeping death, if you're going with the imbuements, unstable imbuements, I think or actually no, not unstable imbuements. I can't remember the name of it. It's the one that gives you the multiplier for the imbuements. I think if the monster is vulnerable. There's definitely a lot of really fun ones that you could put here that could give you a really nice damage bonus, and I'm not really sure Windforce is just the best option. It's an easy option, though. Let me put it this way. It's definitely an easy option for an early Barrage build. Like, if you're just going to do Barrage, you could just throw Windforce on for a while until you figure out everything and find, like, the most perfect bow to put your Greater Affix on. Like the triple Greater Affix bow with, like, a really awesome aspect. But, I don't think it's going to be my end game choice for a Barrage build, if that makes any sense. And I've kind of just been rambling on here because Mr. Nimoy, I blame you. I blame you. That's right. Wet your ear. Anyway, as always, thanks for watching, guys and gals. Be sure to hit that like button and the subscribe button if you're interested in more content. And as always, keep watching.